quail.
That was to have a little bit of blue quail, mate. Time for a bit of blue quail.
Is it that time?
It is that time, I believe. RobbyG, welcome.
Cheers.
Oh, this is a great way. I should have started this before. Haven't even had a sip, and look what's happened.
Oh, I love it.
How's it going, RobbyG?
Good. Happy Wino Wednesday.
Wino Wednesday. Wino Wednesday number 18.
18? Holy cow. That's amazing.
That's crazy. 18 varietals of wine.
Who's joined us for every single one?
Carol Alley.
Jason, Carol.
The list goes on.
We're going to have to go
Kristen.
back to the beginning and just go in circles after a while.
I think so. When are we going to run out of varietals? Ooh, that's a thing. How many varietals are there?
No, don't they say there's like 1,000 just in Italy? So I think we're good.
We're good. We got years
We'll get to
go.
some very weird and obscure ones though soon, I'm sure.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Gina.
And I'm Robbie, the professor.
Yes, and we are here to talk about Gewürtztraminer, our varietal of the week.
Gewürtztraminer?
Gewürtztraminer. Is that what it looks like?
Gewürtztraminer.
Traminer. Oh my gosh. Don't listen to a word the professor says.
Gewürtztraminer.
You have to say it with conviction.
Well, they have in German, they have what do they call it? The umlaut?
Umlaut.
But not in English. Is that correct?
Well, they have it on there.
Oh,
it's
okay.
an English wine, so...
I don't see it. Oh, they do have it. Sorry,
yeah,
my eyes
there
are
you
not
go.
good.
He needs glasses. He's getting older. I'm going to crack open this bottle. I'm going to do a much better job of it because it is a twist top, which I'm becoming much more fond of. Did I mention that last time we had a twist top?
They're easier.
Yeah.
And there's less of a stigma about twisting.
I think
now.
so too.
There used to be.
I think so
they used to be frowned upon.
It used to be. But welcome. For those of you that, are new, on YouTube, if you have a YouTube account, I'm happy to answer questions via the chat function. If you don't have YouTube, we'll just be answering all the questions as we go, so hopefully your questions will be answered. I'm going to talk a little bit about the wine, but let's first let Rob tell you about the cheeses if you started to dig in before we get to the one that you're after, so you'll know what you're eating.
Yeah, but please open up the cheese plate, pour yourself a glass, have a sip or two, and start snacking. I wanted to tell you what is in front of you before we get going because obviously we just want you to jump in and start munching. We're going to tell you about all the cheeses though as we taste them. So the plate in this order is Piave Vecchio. It's this long sticky deal. I have 3 pieces on mine, but it's
2 for me, 1 for you.
It's got little crunchies in it, I can see, but that's an Italian cheese we're going to get to. The second one is the Pont and it is this cheese that has a kind of a brioche rind and a yellowy paste on it. That's the Pont from France.
That will be the smelly one. One of the smelly ones.
Yeah, if you guys have an aroma coming off your plate, that's probably what it is. The third cheese is called Big John's Cajun. And the best way to identify this one is it has kind of a reddish rub on the rind of it.
Would that be Cajun rub?
Perhaps. Or the Utah cheesemakers spin on a Cajun.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
And then the fourth one is your blue cheese. So it's got little bits of blue in it. That's the Chiriboga blue, and that's from Germany.
That's such a fun name.
Yeah, Chiriboga.
Mm-hmm. Does not sound German at all.
Well, because it isn't.
Oh, another thing that we'll learn shortly.
And then everybody has a little bit of speck, which is a cured meat. It's similar to a prosciutto. It comes from northern Italy. So there's our speck. The jam is a spicy apple garlic jam. This is one of my favorites. It goes with everything. So try it with everything. These are a little mini toast, of course, a nice neutral cracker. There's kiwi, there is blackberries, there's blueberries. Of course, we have our rosemary, as we always do.
Love.
If you're wondering about this thing, this is dried pineapple. So that's another fun little twist to the plate today.
Yes. And you're going to say, why dried pineapple?
Yeah, why dried pineapple?
Well, let me tell you, Rob, as we toast again, because now I can do a proper toast, and I can take my first sip of Gewürztraminer. Picked pineapple because Gewürztraminers tend to have lychee and tropical notes. So we thought we would play on the tropical notes with the dried pineapple tonight. So I'm going to see what I think. Ooh, I can smell it. It is tropical.
Is it lychee?
Lychee. It is. Definitely it is lychee. We should have had a lychee on there. Next time. Oh my gosh, that's really good. I think, I don't know why. tend to think of Gewürztraminer always as a German wine, and then I think of German wines always as being too sweet. But this isn't. This is not German, nor is it sweet. This one comes from a Mendocino County. So it is a California organic Gewürztraminer, often related to the Moscato grape. And that's why I think they tend to be sweet, because that tends to be a sweet grape. Whenever you think of Moscato, I think most people run the other way because it's like, oh, I don't want a sweet wine. And I think that's why Gewürztraminers aren't popular, because it's too hard to pronounce and people are scared that it's sweet. It's like for Riesling. Remember we did Riesling night and found out that Rieslings don't have to be, and they can be just super delish and no problem. This one is definitely fruit. Lychee, like they said. I'm going to have to agree with them.
Lychee was everywhere. Yeah. Everything I looked up about Gewürz, the description was always lychee.
Yeah.
Even whether it was sweet or dry, but lychee was, and people say that oftentimes people confuse sweetness with fruitiness. Fruitiness is a more complex flavor, and so, but it gets mistaken for sweetness.
For sweetness. And that, I would agree. It has a hint of the sweetness, but I think it's because of that lychee.
Yeah, and you know, I didn't know a ton about Gewürz before today. I looked up some stuff this morning, and my thought was that it's always a sweet wine, or at least maybe that's a stereotype, but it is made in all levels of sweetness, from sweet to very dry wines. I know that they come from cold climates, so it gets very much connected to Germany and Eastern France. So Alsace, which is where there's a lot of those kind of fuller bodied whites, the Rieslings and
Gewürz.
And so, but they do come from everywhere. They're made in California. They're made on the East Coast, Australia, and they're kind of medium acid. I looked up the name. The Gewürz means spicy or perfumed.
Yes.
Traminer.
Yes.
Traminer is a very has kind of a bit of a confusing history, but Traminer is a grape in its own, and it's named for a town called the village is Trammin.
Okay, makes sense.
And it's in the South Tyrol, which is near where your mom comes from.
Yeah.
In Austria, but it's northern Italy is where it comes from.
I think we must visit.
Or the South Tyrol is Tyrol is both Austria and Germany.
Austria.
Austria, Italy. Yeah.
So Tyrol, South Tyrol. Oh, interesting. Maybe that has to be part of the Alps tour. A little wine tasting of the Traminer.
I think so.
Tramin.
But that's where the grape originates.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the grape itself is not one of those really dark, almost black looking grapes like the ones we've discussed recently from northern Italy. It's kind of like a light reddish, almost pinkish rose type of color.
Okay.
But it comes out as a white wine.
As a white wine. It's delicious. I'm getting more fond of whites, Rob. I used to just be red. But through all this whole varietal tastings and stuff, I am super falling in love with the whites, and especially with the cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shall we talk cheese?
We shall get in.
What did I say? We're starting with the Piave Vecchio.
Allow me. Yes.
Go for it.
Once again, it's the big spear on your plate. Something like this.
You know what I love? I love these cheeses there's some really classic cheeses on the plate, at least cheese styles. The Piave Vecchio, I'm going to have a little bite myself. The Piave Vecchio is from northern Italy, and it's from Veneto, which is the region where Venice is located. It's made all around the Piave River Valley. So there's a Piave River that goes through a few regions in the north, and most of which we find up there for cheeses are cow's milk, and they're in the family of Asiago. Asiago would be the most well known because for whatever reason Asiago became a cheese that was sold here at grocery stores, and so a lot of people know that name, Asiago. Asiago, there's another one called Montasio,
which I love too.
These are all they're all pretty similar. They're really hard cow's milk cheeses, and they can be aged for a good while. The name Piave Vecchio means, Piave is the place, Vecchio means it's aged. In this version I'm going to say it's a year and a half or so. But I've seen versions that are 2 years, 3 years, and they just get more crunchy, more just more. They get more texture as they age.
Yeah, as they age, just like me.
Oh yeah.
In all sorts of ways.
And sometimes they get like a tropical sweetness as they age, which is so interesting because and I've heard pineapple too.
Pineapple. That's what I always think of when I eat Piave is pineapple, and I love it. I think it's pineapple-y, and it is perfect with this.
So good.
Pardon us while we just eat.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna gorge.
Just gonna just
take a little break.
Because it's so very
Oh,
good.
it's so good. Piave Vecchio. They the cows are a Swiss brown cow that they
Very
use.
popular in that region, right?
Yeah, so it's a kind of an alpine. It's a really common type of cow for alpine cheeses, and this is really close to an alpine cheese. This is near the Alps. This is northern Italy. It's fairly close to the Dolomites, which are those beautiful jagged mountains that
Did
are
you know?
nearby.
Okay. Can I give you a little thing about the Dolomites
Please.
since we're on that, if I may? There's kind of 3 peaks, and the Dolomites were famous. What movie was that with Sylvester Stallone or
Rambo?
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Over the Top?
or somebody in the Dolomites? Anyway, whatever. 3 peaks called the Dreizinnen. Do you know what that means?
Well, drei means 3.
3. Zinnen means teeth because they look like teeth. To the Austrians, I suppose.
They
So
look like
named them
fangs because they're
Dreizinnen.
sharp.
Exactly. So they're sharp teeth. But the Dreizinnen are the Dolomites mountains. So yeah,
fascinating.
Very
They're
good.
really, really cool looking though.
That's right.
When we were there a couple years ago, and it was, I remember driving through there. The other thing that I think about when I'm eating this cheese or cheeses like this is, you know, in Europe especially, cheeses are so regional. And like depending on where you are in Italy or France, that's that if you go to the markets in that place, they're gonna really feature and really champion the cheeses from there. And so the closest big city, which is kind of not gonna be a big city in a while, is Venice.
Yeah.
It's gonna be underwater. But they have
What is that underwater city?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Waterworld.
Yeah.
The Kevin Costner movie.
No.
The underwater city. Oh,
Atlantis. It'll be the new Atlantis.
At some point. But there's like all those great European cities, they have these awesome open air markets, and there's one in Venice called Rialto. Have you been?
Yes. Best market ever with the seafood
Amazing.
and stuff.
Yes. So they have tons of seafood there, but they also have a couple cheese stands, and the cheeses are all they're kind of like they're similar. They're homogeneous. Like they're very similar to the Piave Vecchio, and they'll have Piave of various ages. Usually they just call it Piave. I mean, it's kind of assumed that this is a Vecchio because of the texture on
age,
it.
yes, exactly. So Stravecchio, really aged.
Stravecchio, but Asiago, Montasio, it'll have all of those cheeses as well as some of the softer cheeses and fresh cheeses because those don't travel as well. So it's harder to find the soft and fresh cheeses from an area, but you can always find them in their local market.
Yeah, I find that Mexico too. Like we go to Tijuana to their market, lots of similar styles. Because that's what they make, and that's what's regional. That's what they can make in that region of Baja. So it's super fascinating. Sorry, I'm eating and drinking and trying to talk at the same time. But super delicious.
I'm going to try some spicy
I love
apple.
that you're doing a spicy apple with it. What about pineapple with it? Has anyone tried the pineapple? We've got some comments that the wine's really crisp, and I agree, Carol. Super crisp, and I love it. I'm sorry. But it's fun with the tropical. I don't think you ever think... I rarely think to put tropical fruits with cheese. I always think it should be the traditional fruits.
You know,
but it's fun to do the tropicals.
I don't know if I mentioned the kiwi on your plates too.
That's the one thing I'm kind of allergic to.
Really?
But I might eat it a little anyway because it just makes me tickle at the back of my throat.
Yeah.
But I love kiwi.
Oh, boy.
Okay, mention the kiwi.
Yeah, so there's a couple slices of kiwi on your plates, and it gives nice color, and I'm excited to try that at some point. I'm going to have the pineapple with it.
Pineapple. It really, the pineapple with the wine, they mellow each other out. The Piave with the wine brought out the wine. The pineapple mellowed it out. How many bottles have I had through? If I've had 18, I keep going back to the 18 and how many different things that we've had.
That's nothing for
really
the
good.
Pandemic year. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. But that's just those days that we've had the class. We won't
good point.
discuss the other days of the class.
Any day that ends in Y is a good day to
It's a
drink
good
wine.
Yes,
That's what they say.
That's going to be my new motto. My motto is, Rob, if the French can do it, so can I.
That's right.
The French do it, so I can do it. Yeah.
It's good for you.
It's good. It's good.
Balances the cheese. That's what I always say.
But that Piave is awesome, I gotta say. And you're right. In the travels through northern Italy, you do see that style of cheese kind of everywhere. And and that's great. That table cheese, you could call that table cheese, which again is not a derogatory term by any means. It should always be around.
Table wine, table cheese.
Yeah.
It's just one that is very versatile. It goes with a lot of things. You can pair it with beer if you wanted to. It would go really well with those kind of light Italian lagers. The other thing is Parmigiano Reggiano, a cheese we talk about a lot. Sometimes those even take on a tropical flavor at certain ages. It's really strange, and I never even thought about it. But as I tasted more and more, and as eating cheese became my job and my career. Somebody said it at one point, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. It was like a 3-year parm, and it took on these kind of tropical pineapple, almost or like passion fruit type of notes. It was so bizarre, but it was true.
True and good.
So, and sometimes it's just somebody just needs to say, doesn't it taste like that? And you go,
yes.
Now that you say it, that's what
suggestion.
It is. Suggestion. Yeah, you put it in my head.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Well, that is a winner, Rob. And together with the wine.
And that would be an example of a complementary pairing.
Yep, for sure.
And I think also it's got a nice texture thing going on because you've got like the dryness of the cheese with the crispness of the wine.
The crispness of the wine.
Cool.
Yes. Ooh, now we're gonna go. Is it stinky today? I didn't take a whiff yet.
Here, you take that piece.
The Pont Thank you. Pont everyone, is your softest cheese on the plate. Almost looks like a brie style.
It's not too stinky
it's not
today.
Too bad. Because this was voted one of the stinkiest.
You
I know, I love it when it's stinky, oozy, runny, sticky.
These are my favorite.
Crazy, but I love them. This can be wild and out there, but it's not. But I find this to be very similar in kind of, again, going back to the German Austria, because that's where I think of Gewürztraminers. Kind of some of their table cheeses have that soft texture, and they just have a kind of barnyardiness to them. Are you getting barnyard?
Yeah, I always do.
Yeah.
I always get, on these cheeses, so this is a cheese from Normandy. The name means, Pont means bridge, as I'm sure a lot of you know. Vecchio is the town it comes from. This is a cheese which is considered a washed rind style, or a stinky cheese. We call them, colloquially, we call them stinky cheeses. It was originally called Angelo, which means baby angel, because it was.
What a change! Yeah.
It was made by monks in monasteries, which all the cheeses in this family, washed rind cheeses, originated. In monasteries.
I want to be a monk because they're making all the good stuff.
So now
I never knew that part. That's a new one.
But now it's made in a lot of factories, or not quite factories, but cheese making facilities.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple. Have you been to?
I know you have.
Really, really cool. There's 4 cheeses that are protected by the AOC, which is the French regulatory system that controls all the names of their agricultural products. The most famous one in Normandy is Camembert. I would say Pont l'Evêque, this cheese, is the second most famous. Then there's one called Neuchâtel. There's another one called Livarot, and they're all kind of similar. But what I was going to say when you mentioned flavor on these cheeses is you said barnyardy. Yeah. I get like a seaweed, almost like a. It's a really maybe it's in my head, maybe it's been suggested. Yeah. But when I went to visit a cheesemaker there, they're called Grain d'Orge. We went to the museum that was right on the beach famous from World War II, and the tomb of the forgotten soldier, and we went to a tourist trap restaurant there, and then we went to the facility and we ate again at the facility. But they were telling us, like, as we were driving, you see all these huge Norman cattle. They're huge, and they're eating these grasses just beyond the beaches, the famous beaches. And then the English Channel is in the distance, but there's a breeze that blows in from the channel, falls on the grasses. These cows eat up to 70 pounds of these grasses in a day.
That's a lot of grass.
It's a lot. And so their milk, of course, like that grass gets converted to milk in their stomach. The milk becomes cheese, and when you taste that cheese, you get the essence of these grasses that are just beyond the beaches in Normandy. And so, to me, they all kind of have this like salty kind of
Yeah.
I don't even know, beachy flavor to them.
Flavor.
And maybe it's in my
Yeah,
head.
well,
I don't know.
mean, the grass is kind of doused in saltwater dew, right? From the mist
Yeah.
of the sea. So you get the flavor of what they eat. So that makes complete sense, right?
Pont l'Evêque. So Pont l'Evêque is a bridge in a town. Camembert is a town. The other cheese names are towns. Livarot is nicknamed Little Colonel because it gets wrapped in bulrush.
That's so cool.
And it looks like the stripes on the colonel's uniform.
I love the look of it. The Livarot. We'll have to get that on a plate with the stripes though somehow because you have to see that to know what that means.
We went to. In fact, I took my dad and uncle to go visit the cheesemaker there, and
they just love it.
They loved it,
Yeah.
and the guy who Hervé was the guy's name. Who he and once you get to these places, it's like you ask for 15 minutes and you're there all day, and they're just such great hosts, and they're so excited. I remember we were at lunch, and he was so excited to take us out. He knocked over the wine, spilled it all over himself, and I think my dad. And
Was
he was
it red?
it was red, and he was so embarrassed. He was apologizing the whole time. It's okay, Hervé. It's okay. Don't worry about
Just
it.
keep feeding us cheese. It'll be fine.
Exactly.
We don't mind.
Oh.
That's cool. I remember Hervé. Yeah.
Hervé was he's been here before actually.
Yeah.
And so he came out with with a rep one time, and I've seen him at some of the shows like in San Francisco.
Yeah.
He's a really just good guy.
It's good. Someday there will be the tour to that region.
Yeah.
We've got our tour next year to the Basque and Bordeaux regions, but
we can do one for northern France because there's Brittany is right there and Saint Michel. We talked about Saint Michel on this one time. It's close to Champagne. It's fairly close to Brie. So there's a lot of cheese and food stuff up there. And of course, you're on the channel, so there's all kinds of seafood. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, you can't go anywhere in France and not find great food and wine.
Right? You know what I'm having tonight?
What's
Leftover. Okay, foie gras that I had for Valentine's Day, but I had a little piece left.
Oh.
I'm gonna sear it tonight. I had it raw.
Wait, did Roger make you a nice foie gras?
No, I made. Roger built a bonfire and it was awesome. That's my husband for Valentine's. I made the foie gras, but we just sliced it cold.
Oh gosh.
Today I'm searing it.
Nice.
Speaking of good French food, now I'm hungry.
Do you have a good French wine like a Sauterne to go with?
No, I have a Gewürtztraminer
Oh,
that I
right,
finished.
of course. No, you're gonna be
Which
done.
I think will be very good.
You're gonna be done with
the-
that by the time dinner comes.
Who do you think I am?
Come on.
You know me way too well.
But that's the Pont l'Evêque, and I don't know if anyone has any questions or thoughts on it,
Yeah.
but it is milder right now. That will get a lot stinkier and a lot more pungent over time.
Yeah, so if you want it that way, get a piece and just let it sit in your fridge for a month or two.
Yeah.
It can get unctuous and aromatic, to say the least.
Aromatic is a good word. That's a nice
So
word
Carol,
for
our
it.
friend Carol, says her mother grew up on a farm and hated the milk because of the flavors from the grass.
Yeah.
So there is something to it, Carol. We agree. Remember we've talked, I think I mentioned before, there are goats that eat nothing but rosemary bushes. The milk the cheese that comes from the milk tastes like rosemary.
Well,
It's
Carol
like
knows
rosemary.
exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
that is
it's
the
true.
effective terroir. Now, I know Carol is from, is it Virginia? Somewhere in that area.
Yes, exactly.
Or South Carolina, somewhere. And so...
Again, coastal.
Yeah, but the effect of, the grasses in that part of the world would be probably a little different than the grasses in Normandy, and that all is, that's why certain cheeses have a distinct flavor and you can't explain it. They might have used the same recipe, but if the diet of the animal is just slightly different, or if there's just something to that earth that is different, it's going to make a different cheese. It's going to taste different.
Here you can relate though. You get a taco in Baja with the certain chilies that they use, or Oaxaca's famous, because it's just the things they can get right there in that region that you just don't get anywhere else.
How about people talk about pizza or bagels in New
Gosh.
York?
Yes.
Because of the water.
The water.
Is it water?
Water.
Oh wait, no, water is Philadelphia, I think.
Okay, is it? I can't get my accent
Did you ever?
straight.
Did you watch the Unabomber show on Netflix?
No.
It's really good.
Is it good?
Okay.
So it's a documentary, I presume.
No. It's fiction, but it's really, really good.
Okay.
It's a series, and they came up with this thing. They showed how they caught him, and they came up with something called forensic linguistics.
Yeah.
Because of remember the manifestos he was writing?
Yes.
And they were like, they figured out that he went to school during this time because of the style. He used a certain style guide. And
Crazy.
But anyway, there's a whole thing about water in water because the detective who found it was from Philadelphia, and he said water.
Water and water.
Anyway, we digress. But
we digress.
It's good. Trust me.
But we'll have to do a whole, because you are addicted to forensic files too. We'll have a whole discussion about that, because throw away your shoes, and now I got to watch what I write, because I have style writing too.
Oh,
I would be caught in an instant.
I have well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You would know my writing is not very good. But it's very distinct, wouldn't you say?
Rob, can I just give you kudos? I think your writing's gotten better.
If I slow down, it's not bad.
It's pretty good. But apologies to anyone that ever got a wedge of cheese that Rob wrapped and tried to write the name on.
Or if I've tried to write the name of the cheese on the plastic lid.
Yeah, we do the writing.
Yeah.
But Rob doesn't.
I'm good at other things, okay?
Yeah. Everybody has their strengths.
They usually say people with really poor handwriting are usually really intelligent.
Oh, really? I've never heard that.
Yeah, doctors.
Doctors
have bad handwriting. Okay.
Right. Nice try. Nice try. Virginia for Carol, by the way.
Virginia, yeah. Yeah, because we talked about we never looked up where those Virginia cheeses were from.
Yes, we did.
Did we?
Gallon. We did.
Grayson and whatever the other one was. Which are so delicious.
I've already had too much Gewürz. I can't remember.
I'm sure Carol knows. Shall we go into
let's keep eating.
numero tres?
Yes.
I want to make sure I go in the right order here. Mm-hmm. So the next one is
the Big John's
Big
Cajun.
John's.
Before we go on, one of our guests, Carol, got a different cheddar today. Carol, you got Hook's cheddar, I know, on your plate. If you can just run into your pantry and get some Old Bay seasoning or some sort of paprika, smoky, Cajun-y, just a spicy, smoky powder that you could put on your hooks, it's going to have the same, I think, effect with the Gewürztraminer.
Well, remember I said it's a little different from Cajun. They put their twist on it.
I want to hear what this story is.
Well, instead of paprika, they use cayenne pepper. That's the difference.
Even better, though.
So, Carol, if you have cayenne,
just dip it straight into the cayenne,
or just put it on a plate and then roll the cheese in it.
Delicious.
It's so
right?
good. It's
so good.
This is
Big John's Cajun.
Big John's Cajun.
We're going to Utah now. So this is cool. We've been in Italy, first taste, delish. Then we went to Normandy, France, delish. Now we're in Utah, of all places.
And we've done. Piave is kind of an alpine style, but really in a category of its own.
Yeah.
Pont is a soft cow's milk. It's a washed rind. It's kind of in between washed rind brie-ish. And then the Big John's Cajun is cheddar. It's straight up cheddar base with a Cajun rub on it. It is cow's milk, and it's from a cheesemaker in Utah called Beehive, and we featured them many times on this. Wino Wednesdays and other things we've done. They always do cheddars, and then they put a lot of different kind of twists on it. This is their Cajun one. What do you think? I love this cheese.
I do too. Somebody, just by smelling it, it's like a piece of pizza. Mm-hmm. If you just smell the spices on the rind, I think it smells like pepperoni pizza. But we picked it because cheddar's great with Gewürztraminer and anything spicy, you guys.
Spicy, yeah.
If anybody's having a Thai dinner, any of the spicy food type meals, Gewürztraminer goes great. Makes sense. We're back to the lychee. That all ties together. That sweet balance with the spice. But the Cajun is the spiciest that we kind of had today. That cayenne comes through. It needs more cayenne. I could do more. I can roll in it.
Me too.
Yeah. For sure.
Oh, and that's also why we did the spicy apple garlic. So I hope you guys are tasting that. This is one of my favorite jams.
I haven't tried that yet because you're eating it all. I will. But that is like a pizza. The cayenne comes through. Our friend George is out there and agrees. The cayenne. It took me a second, George, but here it is.
But it doesn't overwhelm, in my opinion.
It's just
I feel
enough.
like.
But with this, it's perfect.
What else can we say about Beehive? They're isn't Utah the Beehive state or the bee state or something? Isn't there some kind of bee in their name?
I think you're making that up. Wait, what is Utah's? You know, every state has their. We're the golden. Are they Golden State?
I don't know.
California's the Golden State.
Golden Gate.
No,
Golden
we're
State.
The Golden State. I think we're the Golden State.
I know we're not allowed to pick poppies.
Oh, that's right, the poppy, the California poppy. I love the poppy because we call my dad Poppy, so I love the poppy.
Aww.
Yeah.
What are we? I don't know.
We're the Golden State.
I know we're the finest city.
And the finest city in the Golden State.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
Damn, that's really good.
I'd like to be here.
The finest city in the Golden State. I think sometimes, anytime I'm feeling down, I put things in perspective.
Okay.
And I go, listen, I live in the greatest country. The greatest country. I think you have a fly on your face or something?
No, because you're...
The United States,
Yeah.
great country, but then we're in California, which is like a lot of people want to live in California.
Yeah.
Not only are we in California, we're in San Diego.
I know.
But then not only are we in San Diego, we're in the cool part of San Diego.
Yes.
And
we're
the
drinking
best
wine
weather-
on a Wednesday.
Yeah, and the weather's
in
perfect.
San Diego,
and
in California.
And we eat cheese for a living.
It's
and
not bad.
So
Yeah.
life is good.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah, no, things are good. I mean, just to
Cheers
live
to
in
that.
San Diego, to have
yeah.
to be able to eat cheese together on a Wednesday,
and share it with people, that are interested, just to learn to eat.
life is good.
Life is good. I like that. Keep that in mind. Carol agrees. It's the Beehive State, so you're right.
It was the Beehive. Thank you, Carol.
I hate when Rob is always right, and he's pretty much always right.
Well, you know what? Maybe I should start guest hosting Jeopardy. The Beehive, they started in the early 2000s, around when Venismo opened. A little bit later, I think they started in 2005.
Okay.
But it was two brothers-in-law, Pat Ford and Tim Welsh, I think his name is. They're just awesome. They're so great to deal with, as you know.
Yeah.
They've always been super supportive over everything we've done over the years, from rinky-dink little cheese festivals to bigger cheese festivals to just always being there. They have a great rep who lives in LA, so we see her once in a while. Her name's Candace.
Candace, that's right.
So if she's watching, what up, Candace?
But Beehive cheddar, good.
Yeah.
Good, great with the wine, I gotta say.
Good.
I didn't mention the Pont Vecchio to me made the wine. Everything was a little bitter. This one, I can see why the spicy things have to go with this. That's almost my favorite so far.
So
Slightly
the
above
Pont
the
Vecchio was
Piave
kind of
Vecchio.
like a meat, like a.
It was a medium to me,
Yeah.
just because I had a little bitter finish, but I don't know why that is, but it had a smidge of bitterness, where these have all just been super bright, and I guess I'm in the mood for bright.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's not too much else, I guess, to say. I mean, we can talk about cheddars, but cheddars are. What I will say about cheddars, without going into all the history on cheddar, cheddar's a really popular cheese, a very common cheese, and there's a wide range of cheddars, from low quality to very high quality.
Yeah.
But cheddars are a very versatile style. They're big and bold, and they can stand up to lots of spices or herbs, or lots of stuff being added to them.
That's true, exactly.
So you see, cheddars are a cheese that gets experimented with a lot.
Yes, think of the ones we have with chipotle in
Yeah.
it. You have cheddars with everything on it. We have
Mustard.
cheddar with the mustard, the lavender coffee that we have.
That's right. Cheddar with horseradish. Cheddar
Horseradish, mustard seeds. You mentioned.
There's a cheddar with remember the sage cheddar, the sage Derby.
Yes,
cheddar?
tis the season. It's coming up.
That's right.
Valentine's. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Whatever. St. Patrick's.
Wait, Mardi Gras, St. Pat, what's the next holiday?
What's the next one? The Sage Derby, that's right. Yeah, you can do anything with cheddar, right?
Everything. And there's cheddar soaked in wine. There's a lot made with beer. I mean, we have a cheddar that's Preston Porter beer.
Oh, that's right.
Which is Irish, so I'm sure we'll have it.
Yes.
For Valentine's Day. Now you got me on all confused.
All confused. I don't know what day it is. I don't care. But we're just enjoying it. We don't care. Tell a little bit about the speck, though.
Oh, so speck.
It looks like speck. Like when you look at it, it's speck. But if you are official and come from Südtirol, where speck is from, you say speck.
Südtirol means south.
South Tyrol.
So this is excuse me, I got a little cough going on. This looks like a prosciutto. It gets a little bit of a thicker cut. So we turn the meat slicer up a knob or two to give it a little bit of a thicker cut, just to give it more texture. It's more, it's got a little bit more color than a prosciutto. A prosciutto has kind of a pinkish, almost translucent. This is more of a almost jerky-like texture.
but slightly smoked. I gotta say,
Oh, and slightly smoked.
Yeah, it's slightly smoked. That's what makes it a little different. It still comes from kind of the upper leg of the pig, the prosciutto.
The ham hock.
The ham hock, kind of, yeah. But it's slightly smoked. That's what gives speck its distinctive flavor. And I tell you what, I mean, speck. It's become on everything. Speck with burrata. You'll see this on menus everywhere. But to get a true farmer-made speck is something that everyone should taste once in a lifetime. I'm going to try to smuggle a bunch in when we go this next time.
Just bring a whole pig.
Yeah, bring a pig back. I'll work on that.
I mean, it's definitely a little bit gamier. It's got a nice saltiness to it. Prosciuttos to me are a little bit sweeter usually.
I think so too. They have some creaminess or something to them. This doesn't.
No, this is definitely more savory.
Yeah, but prosciutto, speck, and serrano from Spain are very similar.
Yeah,
those three are kind of, I think, the kind of three musketeers of those of that pig leg world.
Well, the other thing too, and I don't know if it's the breed, but the specks we get, the legs they're a lot smaller. They're more petite.
Yeah.
Than the prosciuttos we get.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that's just the way that they're cut or if it's a smaller pig or what the deal is.
Yeah.
But they're delicious.
But it's all delicious. I love them. Yeah. Well done. But the speck is good. What about the speck with the spicy apple garlic?
Ooh, well.
Okay, and the speck with the pineapple would be fabulous. If anybody has any of that left, I would highly recommend that. Because again, I think that's sweet with the smoke. And the speck with the oh, did I just say that? Pineapple? Because
don't forget the speck with the pineapple.
Oh, shut up. Speck with pineapple. Because remember we did the mezcal tasting, and the mezcal smoky tequila with the pineapple was fabulous. So definitely speck with pineapple. I think that's going to be the killer one. Did you do that just now?
I did the spicy apple garlic with the speck.
Okay, now you're going to do it with the pineapple because I want to know what you think of the difference because are they both equally good? And you haven't done kiwi yet?
Not yet.
Okay, you do the kiwi because I'm not ready to be kiwied yet. But I'm going to do it because I've had Gewürtztraminer.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap the pineapple in the speck.
You can use speck just like prosciutto, like around asparagus, and put it on the grill. That's delicious. We used to just fry up speck. You know what Gert would make? A fried egg and chopped speck. And that's breakfast, on a piece of toast. Wow. Super delicious. But then of course you had to melt cheese on it. And I was kind of deprived. Maybe this is why I like cheese so much, Rob. Because Gert, maybe a little lactose. Gert is my mom from Austria. A little lactose intolerant.
Not Gewurt.
She's not Gewurt.
But she would. So
I probably didn't have as much cheese as I kind of wish I had when I was a kid. So maybe I just was craving it. Hence the need for.
Because she wouldn't eat a lot, or what?
She doesn't eat a lot of cheese. She's a bit maybe
sad.
lactose. I don't know. She only takes little bites when we have her over. She loves it, but she just has little bites.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
never noticed that.
Where did my cheese craving come from?
That was probably it.
Maybe that's it.
I wasn't allowed to have sugar cereals or sweets when I was a kid, so I just went nuts on the sweets. And then till I made myself sick, or I'd go to friends' houses and eat
their sweets. Same. I'd be like, oh my god, they have Oreos, and Gerd would be like, I don't care that they have Oreos. You're not getting any Oreos. I'm like, oh, but I want Oreos.
It's like, I can't get Lucky Charms. There's no nutrition in that. My mom was a toddler teacher, Montessori.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it was like if I said yes. She would correct me. I had to say yes, and I couldn't say yeah.
Wow.
But it was good. That's why I'm
You're
so
eloquent.
Sure. Well, I like the. I think.
Okay, wait. What's the verdict?
Well, both of them with the speck they're really sweet. It's a sweet balance. It's just a texture difference.
Okay.
I liked the spicy apple garlic. Was it just obviously a more moist texture? I don't really get a lot of spice in the spicy apple garlic. I get more sweet. The pineapple I liked the texture better with the speck, but then the sweet finish of the pineapple because it's kind of candied was a little too much for me.
Okay.
But it's still good. I mean, it's still delicious. Here I am, like, I'm still gonna keep eating it. Or maybe I put too big of a piece of pineapple into the speck. That's possible.
So the ratios were off.
My ratio.
Your ratio was a little off.
I'll have to try it again.
Why we get so caught up on food? It's all good. I would just mush it all together. Could you put it in a blender and just mush it all together and say it's delicious?
As I always say,
Yum.
Part of the fun is talking about it, just hanging out and talking about it.
It's just talking how, you know what, and nobody ever yet has done the rosemary fronds, which we talk about every time, with any of the cheeses. It's delicious. For that savory note. We've got the sweets. No, oh my gosh. The rosemary just with a piece of blackberry is perfect. And the cheese together and the wine. I am going to go through all this and then I will have nothing left for dinner. But I'm sure I'll find something else.
Yeah, you'll do all right.
Sure, we'll find something else. All right, Rob, what's next? Oh, wait.
I want to do the kiwi with the blue cheese, which we're going to have next.
Is that what you're going to do?
I think so. Do you approve of that? Is that okay?
I think I super approve. And I'm going to have to try to go into the kiwi.
Okay.
Knock down this allergy.
Let's do the blue. I'm going to chop it up a little bit.
Yeah.
The blue is the Chiriboga.
From Germany.
Yeah, it's from Germany. It is, so it's made by a guy whose name is Arturo Chiriboga. That's his last name. So he is not from Germany. That doesn't sound like a German
Not
name
at
to
all.
me.
Where is he from?
He's from Ecuador.
Ecuador?
Yeah.
From Ecuador to Germany. End up in, is it Bavaria? Like southern Germany?
He's Bavaria, which is, Bavaria is where all the cheese making in Germany happens, really. That's where Munich is. It's their Alpine region. So he makes a cheese in the foothills of the Alps. It's inspired by Roquefort and Bavarian Blue, which is Bavarian Blue is kind of similar to a Cambazola. It's a really creamy blue. Roquefort is a French blue, of course, and it's always sheep's milk. But they're both really strong and kind of softer blues. This one is creamy. It has
it's super creamy.
It's kind of
just a hint of blue to me. I don't know. I don't get a ton of blue in it. Just a slight tinge of blue.
And it's cow's milk. For a second, I thought it might be sheep's milk because of the texture. It just has like a fudgy, sheepy kind of texture to it, but it is cow's milk. It's really, it kind of has like a little salty tang to it.
It does. I've never seen a sheep in Germany because, you know, I have family in Munich, out, you know, Bavaria. I've never seen a sheep there. It's all cow. I've seen goats. You saw sheep. Didn't we see sheep up in Austria, though? We did see the sheep in Hochsauer.
We did. We saw sheep and goats. Some old man goats. With the long beard.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting there.
Old man?
No, goat.
I'm the goat, the greatest of all time.
Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, boy.
All right, that's enough.
All right, the Chiriboga with the speck is amazing.
Chiriboga with speck. I'm going to try the kiwi and the Chiriboga.
Okay, you just made a little like taco. A little blue cheese taco. I think that'd be great on pizza. What if you did a kiwi, speck, and blue cheese pizza?
That would be fun.
That'd be good, right?
It's good. I think the blue actually kind of a little bit overpowers the kiwi, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
For me.
Okay. Chiriboga, so that's the cheesemaker's name. I guess you see that a lot, but from Ecuador. I wonder what took him to Bavaria.
Well, I'll tell you.
I
didn't read enough on my paragraph. No, I didn't say it yet. I have all my notes from other. So we have cheese classes on every topic you can think of, and so I just go into my old outline, which I hand out an outline for certain regions, and it's usually a page. But I have my own notes, which are like 20 pages long with maps and anyway, I go in there and just copy and paste when I have a cheese I want to talk about on these Wednesdays. But Arturo, the guy who makes this cheese, he went to Bavaria to learn how to make cheese, but he was planning on going back to Ecuador. And but he fell in love with a local girl.
This is what always happens. So that explains it. Because I'm like, wait, Ecuador is beautiful too. I mean, Bavaria is beautiful, but wow, how different. The girl.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Is history.
Is his story and her story.
You're gonna change it to her story. Is my story her story and your story history?
Yes. After Me Too, I think they changed history.
Did they change
her
it?
story.
Yeah. They should.
Sexist.
They should.
I want to try the Chiriboga blue with the pineapple.
With the pineapple. Okay, because I did it with the speck. I'm going to try with the kiwi. George thinks it's different than any typical blue. It is too, and it's kind of, the texture's almost spongy. I'm going to say spongy. but in a good way.
Yeah.
Texturally, it's very different. I think that would melt beautifully in mac and cheese, a fondue, on a pizza. That one would be really good. Just adds that cream and that hint of that unctuousness. Oh, melted in like a broth with mussels, because I love blue cheese broth with mussels. That'd be delicious.
Yeah, this one I think you can do a lot with. It's I really love the texture on it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. All of it good stuff. Now I'm going to go back to the Cajun into the spicy apple, because I haven't had any, because you ate it all.
So what is this thing called? Is this like a basil?
I think it's a basil top. I don't think it's a basil top. It's the basil bloom blossom.
Basil blossom.
Blossom. That's the word.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
And that'd be delicious too. Did you eat a little of it?
Can I?
Cheese, yes, of course. That's why it's on the plate.
It's not just for show?
No, you can eat it.
Okay. Does it taste like basil?
I don't know. Tell everybody.
Wait, I think I got too much of Marcona almond.
We're eating and eating. Our friend George thinks the blue's not as salty either. Some of them are very salty. That's not salty.
It's got a little salt, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like some of the blues are over the top, and honestly, that's why I was trying it with the kiwi and the pineapple, to see if like the sweet would offset it. And I think that's why it's not as dynamic a pairing as I was expecting it to be, because the salt is not there.
It's not so prominent. Yeah, but good. I don't know my favorite today, Rob.
Oh, you can really taste it. Sorry.
Which one did you do?
The basil.
Okay. You taste basil?
Okay. Yeah.
Basil.
That's right.
Yeah. What would you do the rosemary with?
I just had it on its own.
Yeah, me too. Almost like a palate cleanser.
But I would probably, what I'm going to do is try it with the Pont Levesque, because
could be very good.
The Pont Levesque had a kind of a bad night tonight, you know? Not a good showing for the Pont Levesque. Didn't pair well with the Gewürtztraminer.
It didn't, and I didn't think so. But maybe somebody else thought it paired perfectly fine.
This is a good one. If like these kinds of cheeses, just on the mini toast, are great, because the cheese on its own has a lot going on, and you might taste this, or you might experience this as being very strong. Gina and I eat a lot of cheese, so maybe we don't think it's as strong, but it does get a lot stronger than this.
Yes.
I'm gonna try it with the rosemary.
I'm trying to think what I think is the stinkiest cheese we ever had. So in the whole ranking of stinky cheeses, Vieux-Lille, remember that one? That one was voted many years in a row as the stinkiest cheese in the world. Limburger is what everybody I think thinks of as the stinkiest, and when you smell it, it's indeed stinky smelling, but you taste it, it's not so bad.
Well,
but Pont Levesque is always up there too. That's always like kind of number 3.
You know what I think is the stinkiest cheese that I have experienced is on a consistent basis, because there's a lot of variables. One of them is ripeness.
Of course, yeah.
But Munster, real Munster.
Munster, not MUE or MEU.
Yeah, as in like
Munster.
Herman Munster. Grandpa Munster.
Grandpa Munster. Munster can be mama. What about Taleggio?
It can be, but to me, like Munster, Stinking Bishop is one from England that's really strong. Pont Levesque can be really strong. Limburger gets a kind of a bad rap. I mean, it's usually the first one people say, and I think it's because of the Little Rascals.
I think so too. Yeah,
because they featured it one time.
Made
also,
it famous.
Limburger is a cheese that the first place that it really became popular in the United States is in the Midwest, in Wisconsin, and so I hear so many tales of people from the Midwest who say, like, my grandpa used to eat Limburger and would have it around
on his rye bread.
Yes, and it just stunk up the house, or he would keep it wrapped separately in the fridge and he stunk up the house, and blah 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 blah. There's all these like stories about it, and so I think some of it has to do with that.
Lore.
Yeah. It's lore.
Oh my gosh, we have Venissimo lore. Do you want to hear a story, Rob? I don't know if you were there when we kind of first opened. Some lady comes into the shop and she's like, what's the stinkiest cheese you have?
Oh.
So we looked at the time, we didn't have Limburger, but we had a Poisse, which also can be stinky as it gets ripe, stinky cheese. I'm like, well, we've got this Poisse, and it's delicious, and I'm trying to tell her how good it is, and she's like, I don't care. You know what she says? My in-laws are here. I need to get rid of them. Like, I think she was going to, like, slide it under their bed.
Oh. No,
That's such a waste of a delicious cheese.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it gets to be. That's out of control. Anytime if those cheeses sit out or you leave them in your car or something, that's bad. I mean, they're bad enough in the fridge, but
leave them out at room temp. Or have you tried to put one on a plane and try to contain it on an airplane?
Yeah.
I've had it in like Tupperware, in plastic bag, in my carry-on. You open my carry-on and out comes that aroma. I was like, oh, that wasn't me. That was him.
Yeah, no, but I should say the flavor is always milder than the smell.
Yeah, how is that? That's interesting. Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta. The trick is to get people just to eat it.
For sure.
Don't smell it.
For sure. Yeah, just eat it. Just eat it.
Trust me, it's good.
Oh, awesome! I like Gewürtztraminer. It's easy. It's light. It's fun. I loved it with all the more intense flavors and spice.
Yeah.
And sweet. As always, we're so happy that you tune in and want to check it. And we have slightly our schedule's a bit disrupted, Rob. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to see you again next week.
Oh, okay, sweet. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row because yes, we just had to alter the schedule a bit. So the next one, give me a second.
I just saw
sparkling. It's a sparkling Syrah rosé. So
Ooh.
a sparkling Syrah. Which the first time I ever had it was there was an Australian restaurant here in San Diego that had it.
Wait, that would be a Shiraz then, right?
No.
Is it the Australians say Shiraz or no?
Oh, it's a sparkling Shiraz, yes.
And then Syrah is
correct.
What everyone else
Syrah
says?
Shiraz. We will discuss that as well, but that's next week. So we are kind of 2 weeks in a row.
So it's a sparkling red.
It's a sparkling. It's almost pink.
Yeah,
it's almost
okay.
rosé-like. So it's in between.
That made me think of Lambrusco, the one from.
Oh my gosh, it's
we
Italy
should do that.
again.
We should do that one.
We should do a Lambrusco because just like Riesling, it gets a bad rap.
Yeah.
What was that? Asti Spumante? What was the ad? I mean, way back because you're old enough to know.
Is it a martini ad?
No.
No, Martini, the company Martini.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah.
Martini and Rosso or something. Asti Spumante or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Not so sweet, delicious. Unknown, a little less known.
Yeah.
We're getting more obscure varietals.
Yeah, there's probably some big ones that we have not covered yet.
Cabernet Sauvignon, I think.
Have we not done Cab?
I don't think we've done Cabernet Sauvignon.
We'll do Cab.
We'll do a Cab.
Or Merlot. We've only done Merlot.
Merlot's coming. That's March 24th.
Oh, do you like Merlot or something? Are you looking forward to
I'm looking forward to it. And I won't tell you why until we...
Oh, yeah?
Go ahead. What are you thinking?
I was going to say, I mean, I could say this for Merlot, but I'm not. The week I moved to San Diego, I was 18 years old. I was going to San Diego State, and I came down a week early with my parents and my grandparents, and we stayed in this little motel in, I guess it was a hotel, in La Mesa. And we went to this little restaurant that was in the hotel motel, and they asked for the wines, and she said they just had a Merlot. That's all they had. It was a Merlot.
A Merlot.
So we got the Merlot.
Well,
wait, no, I was 18. I wasn't drinking.
18.
I mean, yeah.
Well, somebody once.
Because nobody at San Diego State drank at that time.
Well, no college student has ever drank. What are you saying? Merlot, Dom Perignon.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, Camembert or.
Camembert is a big one. We could go through the cheese.
That'll
be another one. Mispronunciation. Anyway, thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your Gewürztraminer. I hope you enjoyed all these as well. Ooh. And hope to see you again.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Cheers.
Au revoir. What do we say? Auf Wiedersehen, but it's from Mendocino. We say good night.
Good night. Goodbye.
Enjoy.
Thank you.